Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are at the St. Louis For School Virtual College Fair powered by StriveScan. My name is Sibel Rasim. I will be your facilitator for today's session. I'm super excited to be here. We have some absolutely amazing institutions here to tell you a little bit about themselves, but just a reminder, this is just an appetizer. So you're going to hear a little bit about these institutions, but please, please, please make sure that you're checking the different links and things that they're because we only have about 45 minutes on the clock. So a couple of things before we get started. You definitely want to ask questions, okay? But how are you going to do that? So in order to ask questions, you're going to be using that Q&A button in your Zoom toolbar in order to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. I stress, at any time. Do not wait until the last minute to ask those questions. It's extremely important because we do not have a live Q&A happening at the end. So again, really important to ask those questions at any time. Also, when you are asking those questions, just do us a favor and put that institution's name within the question, just so we all know who the question goes to. Also, the panelists cannot see or hear you, so your video is turned off and you are muted, and therefore, again, really important to use that Q&A. Now, fun fact, also, you might see some notifications pop up in the chat, so go ahead and check those notifications out. Although you cannot interact back and forth in the chat, you definitely can check out the links because our presenters could be putting some really important links or contact info within the chat. Two last things, sign up for more sessions. This is one out of many college presentations offered. So sign up for the next session in the next time slot. And then last but not least, maybe mom missed out on today's session. Maybe a friend wants to check out these schools, or maybe you just want to relive the fun with us. Well, you could do that because all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/St. Louis For School. With that said, I'd love to get started. Our first institution up for today's session is Texas Christian University.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Let me go ahead and formally introduce myself. My name is Ray Person, and I'm an assistant director of first-year admission here at TCU, located in Fort Worth, Texas, which is actually the 13th largest city in the country, but the 4th largest metroplex overall. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to share my screen so that I can provide you with a few very helpful slides to kind of navigate this evening. So with that being said, again, just formally introducing myself, I am the assigned admissions counselor for the St. Louis and Kansas area. So happy to have you all with us tonight. So just to give you a little background information about Texas Christian University, we were actually founded in 1873 by two brothers who were prime ministers who were associated with the Disciples of Christ Church. Today, we're still associated with the Disciples of Christ Church. However, we actually have over 60 different faiths represented on our campus, with the largest denomination being Roman Catholic. Know that there are no religious requirements as it relates to attending TCU. Your spiritual journey can be as small as robust as you would like for it to be. We would just ask that you put us in the passenger seat of that spiritual journey. So the way that I love to describe TCU to all of my prospective Horned Frogs, which is our official mascot for TCU, is that we're that small to medium-sized liberal arts college with large university resources. So we're small enough to where if you're definitely wanting not to feel like another number, you could definitely come to us and feel like a part of a family and community. But we're large enough to where if you're still wanting that large state school feel, you could definitely get that at TCU. So overall, we have about 9 different academic colleges, with 8 of them being degree seeking, with about 115 plus different majors of choice located in those 8 different academic colleges. The most popular programs we have at TCU includes our business program, our pre-health majors, because we see about an 80% acceptance rate into medical school, which is actually double the national average. And then also too, another very popular program is our nursing program, due to it being direct entry. As I stated earlier, with that small to medium-sized liberal arts college, so our average class sizes are about 27 students per class, with a 13-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. And we do require for our students to live on campus for their first 2 years, but as you can tell, we provide one of the best experiences, in the country. In addition to all of our colleagues here on this call tonight who provide very exclusive exclusive experiences for their respective institutions. So we're all great fits for our students, all right? So with all that being said, I definitely just wanted to really get you all to understand that if you are definitely looking for that school that has that bold leadership, that has that spirited campus, and also to that supportive community, you should definitely consider Texas Christian University. For my juniors that are currently on here tonight, know that we are currently offering campus tours for our students Monday through Friday, once at 9:30 a.m. and another at 1:30 p.m. each day. And know that we'll provide you with a 30-minute information session in addition to an opportunity to take a tour of our campus as well. I'll be more than willing and happy to answer any questions you may have regarding our institution. And then also too, I'll provide some very helpful resources and links within the chat function as well. So once again, we're so happy to have you all here with us this evening, and hopefully we'll see you in Fort Worth, Texas, and hopefully you'll become a part of the Horned Frog family. Once again, everyone, have a great time, stay safe, and go Frogs.
Awesome, thank you so much. If you have any questions for Texas Christian University, go ahead and please put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have University of Dallas.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right, so a little bit about the University of Dallas. We are also located in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We are, I think, the smallest school of the group of Texas colleges you're seeing today. We're about 1,400 undergraduate students. And today I'm going to cover some of our main characteristics, which will include more information about our liberal arts core curriculum, our study abroad opportunity in Rome, and also notes that we are a Catholic university. So first, let's start with the core, since every student, regardless of what they end up majoring in, is going to participate in this about 2-year journey through our liberal arts core curriculum. There are small class sizes. Average class size is 19 with an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you're really going to be able to dive into our primary text driven liberal arts core curriculum in the type of classroom setting that really fosters great dialogue, great discussion, and at times great debate. So we really strive throughout the core curriculum to provide our students the opportunity to ask big questions about, what is the meaning of life? What does justice look like? What does it mean to live a good life? And we use these texts to guide those conversations. So every freshman reads the Iliad, the Odyssey, and the Aeneid in their first semester literature course. And we use situations from those texts to guide conversations about what is a good life in the real world, for example. So the core spans literature, history, philosophy, theology, math, science, politics, economics, language, and art. And most students do participate in the core during their first 2 years and then focus on their major years 3 and 4, but you can spread the core out. If you want to dive into your business major, dive into your biology major for your pre-med classes, you definitely can do that. Some of our most popular majors include business and biology, as well as psychology, English, and economics. So another great perk of having that common core that takes a substantial amount of your time is we save a whole semester of those liberal arts courses for you to take on our second campus in Rome, Italy. So again, no matter what you end up majoring in, whether you're an economics major or a philosophy major, you're going to have time in your 4-year plan to study on our second campus in Rome, which you can see a picture of right here. Most students do go during their sophomore year, but you can go junior or senior year instead. And typically it's for a semester, fall or spring semester. We also have summer programs available. It's called the Due Santi campus, which is Italian for the two saints. As the legend goes, Saints Peter and Paul crossed through the land that our campus now occupies about 13 miles south of the city of Rome. It is on its own vineyard. We make our own wine and olive oil, and our students help with that production if they would like to. Tons of travel opportunities with all of your classmates, and for personal travel on the weekends. Most weekends are 3-day weekends. In addition to the class trips you'll take 10 days in Greece, and then trips to northern and southern Italy. And this is a very, very popular experience. Over 80% of our students participate in this program. So we do have other study abroad experiences, but this is the big one that most students are participating in. Other things to get involved in. So we've got a ton of quirky traditions. Our biggest one is our Groundhog's Day celebration. We have the second largest Groundhog's Day celebration in the country, which is a little bizarre, the small liberal arts college in Irving, Texas. But we love the Groundhog and we celebrate Groundhog's Day. Tons of student clubs and organizations to get involved in. We are Division III for athletics. We've got about 15 Division III NCAA sports. And then we do require students to live on campus. So residence life is a huge part of the UD experience. We require you to live on campus until you are a senior, at which point you can move off, but most students still live within walking distance, even for that 4th year. So the campus community and the residence life experience is a huge part at UD. As our name signifies, we are located in the Dallas Metroplex. We're actually located in Irving, a suburb of Dallas, just about 15 minutes from downtown, about 30 minutes from Fort Worth. And that's a huge perk for our students when they're looking for employment opportunities after they graduate, or just things to do for fun in the city. Whether you like pro sports or music, there's lots of opportunities in Dallas, Fort Worth. We also do a great job at preparing our students for life after graduation. So if you're looking to go to graduate school, whether that's medical school, law school, or another competitive program, you are in a great undergraduate preparation for that. You can see we have 85% acceptance rate to med school, 90% law school acceptance rates. But we also prepare students for the quote unquote real world as well, with a 98% placement rate for all of our graduates within 6 months of graduation. So we're here to help you in our small, tight-knit community land the job of your dreams or get into the program that you want to after you graduate. Finally, just a quick note on what is required. We are test optional if you are applying. So definitely don't worry about test scores. You can still qualify for all of our merit-based scholarship. So that quick rundown, but that's all I've got. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for the University of Dallas, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have Texas A&M University.
Oh, howdy, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying your trip around Texas virtually this evening. So my name is Libby. I am the regional advisor for Texas A&M University. Whoop. Good to have you guys here tonight. Let's dig in. So first things first, starting at the beginning, right? Texas A&M was the first public institution of higher education to open in the state of Texas way back in 1876. So we've been around for a minute. Since then, we started with those humble beginnings, right? Real small, all male, all military. And we still have a little bit of an attestment to that. But again, we've grown a smidge to where now we are the largest university in the country as of this year, with a little over 71,000 students. You read that correctly, 71,000, 65 plus in College Station, Texas. So bigger, better, moving on, right? Lots and lots of opportunities here, including the fact that we are the first in the state of Texas to hit the 1 billion in research expenditures in a given year. So really, whenever we dig into academic opportunities here in a minute, knowing that, yes, we're large, but we have that 20-to-1 student-teacher ratio, and that being a top-tier research institution is really important for our undergrad students, knowing that you've got that expenditure behind you too, that's a really cool opportunity. So speaking of academics, we have about 10 colleges that we work with for undergrad students. Knowing the layout of Texas A&M, College of Engineering is by far our largest, loudest, proudest. It takes up about a third of our students on campus. From there, being in Chicago area, but growing up in St. Louis, I know that Mays Business School is also really exciting for our Midwestern students. So a few things to play with there. Since I'm assuming a good chunk of you are juniors on the call tonight, I wanted to touch real quick on the application process, since we know summer's coming, and then just like that, college admissions starts. So first things first, we are a holistic review university, meaning that what you see on the screen here is just a sample of what we want to see from you, right? We want to know your academic achievements, of course, but this has also been kind of a wonky year. Normally we would be doing this in person. So talk to us, what else has really shaped your high school experience, right? What drives you to go to school later, right? Academically, maybe it's opportunities outside of the classroom, like study abroad. What challenges have you had and how have you overcome them? So quick screenshot if you want to know that. Looking at the application requirements, again, another good little screen to screenshot here. First things first is the application itself. We are either on the Coalition or Applied Texas, tomato, tomato, either way. However, I do give just a point of reference. If you do think that you're going to apply to multiple schools in the state of Texas, like what's on this call tonight, Applied Texas will probably be what you'll want to use, okay? SAA, which is that getting to know you style essay, right? Tell us about yourself. And don't be afraid to brag here, right? Like we want to know, otherwise it really is that blank slate that we're working with. So our domestic students, we have a $75 application fee, $90 for international students, or the fee waiver. So just note that in your head now, come college admission process time, you should probably chat with your guidance counselor about what that fee waiver could look like, okay? SRAR, self-reported academic record, not the SARS virus. I had that one a lot this semester. SRAR, that will take the place of your high school transcripts. So more information to come on that later, but just wanted to go on ahead and pop that term in your head now. And it is good to know that we are test optional, ACT and SAT, for, again, this next fall of 22. Looking at the admissions process, the application will open August 1st, guys. So it's coming up. And good things to know is that it is the application for admission and for scholarships. They count one in the same. So please take your time, not too much. We do have a December 1st deadline. My typical piece of advice that I give students, no matter what schools you're looking into, try and get those applications in by the end of October. Then you can file FAFSA and all of the things there. But August 1st is whenever that application will open. Okay, from there, again, those required documents, the priority deadline for FAFSA, that's in December. Typically speaking, you'll receive an admission update, right? Whether it's that yay or nay, or maybe somewhere in between, about January, February. And then you have until May 1st to officially notify us to let us know you're coming. Okay. That is about all the information that I had tonight. I'm going to put my contact info in the notes. Thank you so much, guys, and gig 'em.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Texas A&M University, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have Baylor University.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Ameriquin and I am an admissions coordinator with Baylor University. Thank you all for having me today. As you can see, I actually went to Baylor. I graduated in 2017 and now have worked for 4 years within the admissions office. So that's 8 years in Waco. I'm not from Texas, I'm from California originally. So came from out of state, similar to how you guys would be if you would come to Texas for any of these colleges that you're hearing from tonight. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys because I know kind of what that out of state experience was like for me. I would be your specific admissions counselor. I recruit out of Kansas, Missouri, as well as Arkansas. So if you have any questions at the end of the presentation, I'll be sure to leave my contact at the end. But as you look at some of these pictures, that one on the right-hand side with all of us rushing the field, that was from a few years ago, but that picture is very similar to what our campus looked like just a few weeks ago, of course, when our men won the basketball championship. So if you guys have been following sports or following Baylor in the news, it has been a really fun time for us here in Waco these last couple weeks. But of course, that's not the reason why I'm talking with you guys today. But really what I want to talk with you about is as you start to think about what are the things that you're interested in a college, events like this are going to be really helpful. So you've heard from some schools already, and that's the reason why I love events like this, is because it gives you a place to start as to what am I interested in? What am I looking for? And so when you think about Baylor, there's a few things that really make us unique. First and foremost, I think, is our mid-size, as you've heard from some of our other schools as well. Baylor is a real good size, at about 14,000 undergraduate students. So that gives you all the opportunities of a major, large institution, like competing at the Division I level in sports, with excellent research opportunities, state-of-the-art equipment, and technology, while not missing out on that more intentional learning style and that face-to-face interaction and small school feel that Baylor is going to give you. Baylor is one of the premier Christian research universities in the country, and so that really helps us stand out. Baylor is also unapologetically Christian, and so really what that means is that while you're here on campus, we want you to know that everyone is here to support you in all aspects of your life. So not just academically, but spiritually and relationally as well, so that ultimately our students are graduating from Baylor, they're leaving Baylor better than when they came to us as freshman students. We want to work on that whole aspect of a student, not just academically. So that's just a little bit about what that Christian mission statement stands for us here on campus. We also have a ton of different student organizations to get involved with. This is something that I highly recommend doing as early as your freshman year. You'll have all of your student organizations all out on campus the very first Friday of the school year. So you can get a taste as to what is available here at Baylor. And there's a lot. This picture right here, this was an organization that I was involved in, Student Foundation, which is a scholarship and leadership philanthropy organization here on Baylor's campus. My roommate was on the wakeboard team, had another roommate on Model UN, and he went on into law school. So you have Greek life, academic clubs and organizations, multicultural student organizations. And so really whatever you're interested in, Baylor's going to have something for you to get involved with. And Baylor is actually the oldest university in Texas. So we were founded in 1845. And so, of course, with that comes a lot of history and traditions, things that we've been doing for hundreds of years, and then other traditions that are brand new, that have just started up within the last few years. And so that's been fun to see Baylor develop and grow in that way as well. But a couple of my favorite traditions is probably first that Christmas on 5th Street, as you'll see right here at the Christmas tree, and the fake snow falling. Obviously here in Texas, it doesn't often get cold enough to snow. Of course, this year would have been an outlier when we had that major snowpocalypse here in Texas. But most years we use our imagination. We use these bubbles of soap and it replicates snow. But that whole evening is really fun, a fun event for us to get into the Christmas spirit with horse-drawn carriage rides and hot chocolate. And Santa Claus is usually somewhere on campus. So I love that event each and every year. I also want to touch on our running of the Baylor line. If you've ever been to a Baylor football game or seen a Baylor football game on TV, you've probably seen this tradition before, where students run across the field as fast as they can. You're on the field, you're forming this human tunnel before the game starts. We are the only school out of any of the major conferences that allows students on the field. So that's very unique to us. And so how do we be a part of all these awesome traditions and organizations? Well, it's really easy. Our application is free. It's going to open up on August 1st. Yes, a very free application. So there's no reason not to apply. We've also gone test optional for this upcoming year. So if you haven't had the chance to take an SAT or ACT, no worries. We're going to look at your transcript. We're going to look at your essay. We'll do a holistic review of you as a student. If you have taken a test, certainly send those to us. If you had a great score, we want to see that, but it's not going to, you won't be required to send in a test score for an academic scholarship or for admission. So definitely shoot for that early action deadline of November 1st. That's something that we always recommend. But I hope that you guys take this very quick snapshot of all these different schools and start to think about what is it that's important to you. And if it's Baylor, I hope that you'll reach out to us. If it's another school, I hope that you'll reach out to them, but take advantage of this time to learn more about these student organizations, so or these colleges. But thanks again for having me present to you guys today.
Awesome, thank you so much. If you have any questions for Baylor University, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have Trinity University.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Hillary Everts. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of our assistant directors of admission at Trinity University, located in beautiful sunny San Antonio. So I've got some rapid fire slides to go through. Trinity is a small liberal arts school located in the heart of San Antonio. So our total undergraduate population is right around 2,500. That boils down to a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Average class size is about 20 people. So if you enjoy those small, intimate classroom settings and environments, Trinity could be a really good fit for you. With that, we are an undergraduate focused institution. We don't have any grad students, PhD candidates. So really and truly, you are our focus as an undergrad. Which means you don't have to compete with those people higher up the food chain for the attention of your professors, your advisors, anything like that. So we have 0 teaching assistants, and ultimately 97% of our faculty hold terminal degrees in their areas. So they really and truly are the experts in their field, the cream of the crop, if you will, and the keeper of the keys of knowledge. We consider ourselves a liberal arts plus institution. So if at 17 you have it all figured out and you know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life, that is fantastic and awesome. But if you were like me and had no idea what you wanted to study or what you wanted to do, a lot of these schools on our call could be a really good fit. And in particular, a liberal arts school could be a really good fit for you because we have the traditional liberal arts and sciences and humanities that you'd find at other schools like us. But then we also have pre-professional programs that you tend to find at much, much bigger schools. So things like a full-fledged school of business that's fully AACSB accredited, engineering science, computer science, communications, or education too. We don't have program-based admissions. So when you apply to Trinity and you get into every single program and department we have to offer, and you do not have to declare your major until 2 years in. So you have 2 full years to work one-on-one with an academic advisor and talk about what it is you think you want to study and help prepare a 4-year roadmap for your next chapter post-graduation. Ultimately, we offer 49 majors and 61 minors, and then it is really easy. Our curriculum is so flexible. It's so easy to double major or to be a triple major with multiple minors and still graduate in a 4-year timeline. With that, it's important to talk about how we support you as students. So we are incredibly fortunate to have a robust endowment. It's $1.4 billion. It's ranked within the top 40 across the country, regardless of size of institution. And if you think back to my first slide, 2,500 students, $1.4 billion goes really far for 2,500 students. It means that we can build facilities to make sure you have the most up-to-date technology and resources. We can bring guest speakers and lecturers to campus that are world-renowned at no cost to you. But the most important thing about our endowment is we can make Trinity as affordable as possible for as many students as possible, because your education should be an investment. You're investing in yourself and your future, but we want to make sure that it's a wise investment and one that's reasonable for you and your family to make. So we assume everybody wants free money. That's a good thing, right? So we automatically consider every single applicant for merit scholarships at the time of their application review, and we're ranked number 2 in the nation for awarding merit scholarships. And ultimately, we support our students in such a way through need-based aid as well as merit-based scholarships that more than half of them can leave Trinity without debt. That's a number to take with a grain of salt because everybody's academics are different and their financial situation is different, but still a promising one that we support you in a way to make it financially reasonable. Located in San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the United States, San Antonio does not feel like a big city. It feels like a big small town. And you can see in this picture here, the downtown skyline just past our campus. So we are right in the heart of all of the action. We're 5 minutes from downtown, the Riverwalk, the Alamo. Yesterday was April 25th, and if you've seen Miss Congeniality, it was the perfect day for a date. And that movie was filmed in San Antonio at the Alamo. So it all ties back. But we're only about 5 minutes from downtown in the Riverwalk and then 5 minutes from the airport. So it's really easy to get to and from the city. We're right in the heart of it. And it's cool to see your alumni make really significant impacts in your community as well as nationally. So if you've ever enjoyed a Kind bar, one of those granola bar snacks, you can thank a Trinity grad for that. Dan Lubetsky graduated class of 1990. And then our mayor of San Antonio, Mayor Ron Nirenberg, is a Trinity grad himself. So that's cool to see happening right before your eyes. We're a residential campus and college community. We will require you to live on campus for your first 3 years, but we guarantee housing for all 4 years. And living on campus is really, really nice. So we don't have any community bath or shower situations. It is all suite style. So you and a roommate share a bathroom. We have a cleaning service that comes every other week. You have a public or private balcony. All of the furniture, including the micro fridge unit, is provided by us. And so living on campus is really nice. And roughly about 50% of our seniors choose to stay on campus with us, again, because of our location to the city. Our students come from all over the world and so many different walks of life and experiences too. So 40% of our students are historically underrepresented students or populations. 16% are Pell eligible or high need. 13% are first generation, or they're first in their families to go on and earn a college degree. And then in addition to that, so many of our students come from outside of the state of Texas. So 40% of our students are non-Texan, coming from 47 different states and then 63 different countries internationally. So it's really cool to expose yourself to a wide variety of different areas. This is my quick snapshot of what you need to do. All of this can be found on our website, and then contact information if you want to get connected with me or connect with one of our current students, or come and see us in San Antonio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Trinity University, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. And next up, we have Southern Methodist University.
All right, guys, just bear with me while I share my screen. I want to make sure everything is kosher there. All right, I think we are good. Just moving some things around. All righty. So hey y'all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Allie Homan, and I am one of the assistant directors in the Office of Undergraduate Admission at SMU. I work with students from the St. Louis area, and I'm also originally from St. Louis, so I'm not supposed to have favorites. Y'all are my favorites. I'm excited to have the opportunity to share more about SMU this evening. This is going to be a very broad look at the university, so feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A section or contact me after tonight. So let's get started. So just trying to set the stage and make us feel like we're on campus, here's a bird's eye view of our campus. We consider ourselves a mid-sized private university located in the heart of Dallas in a residential pocket called the Park Cities. We're just about 10 minutes from downtown Dallas, and I like to think we offer our students kind of the best of both worlds in the fact that we're located in a very large metropolitan city, but kind of tucked away in a nice little residential pocket. We have about 6,400 undergraduate students and about 11,000 students total, including graduate students. So kind of that perfect size, not so big you're going to be lost in a crowd, but not so small you don't have big school opportunities. Average class size is going to be about 22, so you'll have professors that know you by name, but then we also have D1 athletics. So you get that big school camaraderie that comes along with having those D1 sports. We have 5 undergraduate schools, so everything ranging from liberal arts and sciences to business, engineering, performing and visual arts, and pretty much everything in between. So for the most part, when you're applying to SMU, you're just applying to the university itself, not a specific undergraduate program or school, so you have time to figure out exactly what you'd like to major and study in. When you get to SMU, you'll start taking classes under our common curriculum, which is what we consider kind of our liberal arts backbone that everybody must participate in order to graduate from the university. In addition to the common curriculum courses that you'll be taking, you'll also add 1 or 2 additional courses in that preferred area of study just to get your feet wet and see if it's something that you enjoy and would like to continue before totally diving into that program. We encourage cross-disciplinary studies at SMU, and we want you to be able to pursue all the different areas that you find interesting while still graduating within 4 years. That's why you'll find so many of our students are double majoring, have a major and a minor, 2 minors, adding a pre-professional track, and so on. I did mention that there were a couple of exceptions to the rule in terms of applying directly to your major with your first year application. And so business and the performing and visual arts are those 2 exceptions that you do have to apply for directly with your first year application. And you'll be reviewed for those programs as long as you list them as either your first or your second choice on that application. But for the most part, you're just applying to the university as a whole, and you'll start taking those classes once you get here. Switching gears just slightly, we're going to talk briefly about student life. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'm really just going to scratch the surface, but there's always something going on campus. There's really no reason to ever be bored outside of the classroom. We have over 200 plus student organizations, so everything ranging from student government to Greek life to community service, intramurals, you name it, we most likely have it. Our students are typically involved in multiple things across campus, so there's tons to choose from. Like I mentioned before, we are Division I, and you can go to all of our home games, which is the swipe of your student ID. There's lots of school spirit here at SMU, and our students are always excited to support the Mustangs. One of my favorite SMU traditions is what we call boulevarding, which is basically our version of tailgating that happens before all of our home football games. The entire SMU community comes together on our main quad on campus, and we call it the Boulevard, and that's where the name comes from. And then during the game, anytime we score a touchdown, our live mascot, Karuna, a small black Shetland pony, will run across the field. Over the last several years, Karuna has gotten a really good workout during the football season, which is super exciting for us. If you follow college sports or know anything about our history in football, you know this is a pretty big deal for us. Another component to the overall SMU experience that I just want to touch on is our living model on campus, which we call the residential commons. They are much more than just the dorms. They're living, learning environments. There's a classroom in each of them. There's also faculty and residents that lives in each of the commons as well. So it's not like mom and dad checking in on your every move. You don't have to sign in or sign out. You can come and go as you please. But that faculty and residence is a full-time faculty member who lives in a first floor apartment that is attached to but separate from the commons. And they're there to support you and create your home away from home for the next 4 years. You're placed into that commons and you don't get to pick your specific commons, but everybody thinks their commons is the best commons and you really can't go wrong. They all kind of have their own personalities and traditions. And you are required to live in that commons for your first 2 years with the option of staying on for the full 4 if you would like. And although, again, like you can't specifically pick a specific commons, but you can pick a roommate and make preferences in terms of whether you prefer suite style or community style restrooms and all of those things. That's just a little bit about the student experience. To wrap things up, I just want to quickly touch on some admissions information. We have early action and early decision within our first deadline, November 1st, and regular decision and early decision 2 within our second deadline, January 15th. We are on the Common App, so if that's best for you, that's great with us, and we read all of our applications holistically. You're fully considered for all scholarships with just that application, and we have decided for this upcoming application cycle to continue with our temporary test optional policy. And so with that, I think I am past my allotted time, but thank you so much for joining me this evening. I look forward to working with you, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Coming up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Southern Methodist University, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. All right. I would love if my panelists and presenters could join me back via video. I actually have a question for you all. Give me 1 second. All right. Without further ado, I have a quick question. We'll just go in presentation order to answer this. And with that said, my question is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? So Texas Christian University, you're first.
Thanks so much for the question. So the piece of advice I would give is, as you go through this process, be open and really build a relationship with the university and all its facets. There's so many opportunities for you to get connected to us through like your admissions counselor. There's opportunities, virtually. I think, this pandemic, brought about challenges, but it allowed us to be a little bit more innovative and creative in the way that we went about connecting with you all. But then also too, you'll definitely get a feel if you get the opportunity to visit the campus as well. So, connect with the admissions staff, take advantage of virtual resources, visit the campus if you can, get a student perspective, get an alumni perspective. So there's so many different opportunities for you to connect to ensure that our institutions respectfully are the best fit for you. So the first thing that you did tonight by being here is a great start, because people think that the process starts senior year, but it actually starts well before that. So kudos to everyone who's taking advantage of this opportunity this evening. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it, Ray. I could hear all day long with that radio voice. Thank you. University of Dallas, you're next.
Hi, I would just recommend visiting campuses if you're able to. I know it's been terrible year, let's be honest. So you probably haven't been able to get on as many college campuses as you might have in another year. But if you're able to walk around a campus, talk to current students, I think that's the best way to get a feel for whether the school feels right with you.
Awesome, thank you. Texas A&M?
I agree to everything they've said. I would also say, guys, take a breath. Like, just take a breath. It's a stressful time of year. You see all our faces. We know that May 1 is coming up for our seniors and they're panicking, right? Take advice now. Take a breath. You'll get organized. You'll figure it out. And either way, you're going to make the best decision for you. Okay, so please don't stress yourself out. It's not meant to be that, all that it's turned out to be. So take a breath.
Awesome advice. Thank you. Baylor University.
Yeah, I would say there's gonna be so many decisions for you to make here in the next 18 months or so, or whatever it is. And so you don't have to know all the answers to everything yet. Start with the schools you want to visit, start with the schools you want to apply for, maybe have a general idea what you're interested in majoring in and studying, especially for the schools that are going to require you to put that or apply for those majors. But you don't have to get, married to a specific major yet, because your passions will change, your interests will change, or you won't be as good at biology as you thought you were. And that's totally okay. Like, I don't think many of us thought we would be admissions counselors, but here we all are. And so everyone, you're going to find your own path as you go through it. So offer yourself some grace as you go throughout that process.
Awesome advice so far. Trinity University, what would you add?
It's hard near the end of the list because everything great has already been said, and I agree with it all. But I think two really important things is you're looking for three kinds of fit when you find a school: academic fit, social fit, and financial fit. And all three of those stars need to align in order for you to make the best college choice for you. And those are just facets to consider, to put them into big buckets. But I think the other really important thing is realizing that there's not just one school for you. There are going to be so many schools. There are between 3,000 to 5,000 universities in the United States alone. There are so many phenomenal institutions, not just in the Zoom call, but so many other places. And so there are going to be a lot of schools that could help you thrive and fit all three of those fits. So just knowing that there's not going to be one magic school. I think at 17, you just want one right answer, but there are going to be a lot of options.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Southern Methodist.
Tough being last after all those words of advice, but I think one of my key things is be organized. It's a little bit more logistical, but make a list of all the colleges that you're interested in. Put all of their deadlines, what they're looking for, if they require test scores, all of those things. Just make whatever works for you, whether that's in a notebook or an Excel document or a Google Doc that you share with your family or whatever it might be. But staying organized, the amount of times that I hear students say, oh, I didn't get that email. And I'm like, we sent it 3 times. Make sure you're checking your email. Make sure you're staying organized and staying on top of this process. Take ownership of it. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Be organized.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that advice. I know I learned a few things, and I hope our attendees did as well. Thank you, my panelists and presenters, for being here and taking the time to tell us a little bit about your institutions. My attendees, thank you so much for being here for appetizer. I guess you could say appetizer hour, right? 45 minutes, but remember, it's an appetizer. So it's time to deep dive into these institutions and stick around for that entree. By go ahead and checking out the contact information and the links that they sent in that chat. But thank you so much for being here. It is super, super important that you're taking these steps in your college search process. Before you leave, after you close out the window, a very quick 4-question survey will appear. Please give us some feedback. We appreciate it. Also, sign up for more sessions. We do have another session in the next time slot. So hopefully we'll see you there. And then also, again, if you'd like to relive the fun, a recording will be available within the next few business days at strivescan.com/St. Louis for school. With that said, everybody, thank you all again so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, everybody.